The Last Supper wasn't just a meal, it was the moment heaven touched the earth. Imagine Jerusalem glowing under the quiet of evening. The air is heavy with the smell of bread baking, the sound of families preparing for Passover, laughter echoing in narrow streets. But somewhere above the noise, in an upper room dimly lit by oil lamps, a quiet tension fills the air. Jesus and his disciples walk through the narrow lanes toward that room. He walks in front, calm, but in his heart he feels the weight of the world. He knows that before the sun rises again, everything will change. The disciples talk softly behind him. They don't understand the sadness in his eyes. To them, it's another Passover, another night of celebration with their teacher. But Jesus knows. He knows this will be his last supper with them. They reach the house and climb the stairs. The room is ready, bread on the table, cups of wine, lamb prepared for the feast. Candles flicker on the walls. The disciples take their places, and Jesus looks at them, one by one. He has loved them deeply. He has taught them, walked with them, laughed with them, corrected them, and carried them. He knows each heart in that room, the faith of Peter, the doubts of Thomas, the quiet love of John, and the secret darkness in Judas. He sits down, breathes slowly, and says, "I have longed to eat this Passover with you before I suffer." His voice is soft, but every word carries power. The disciples fall silent. The room is still, the only sound the flicker of the lamps. Then Jesus takes the bread in his hands. He looks up to heaven, gives thanks, breaks it, and says, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." He passes the bread around. Each man takes a piece, not fully understanding what he means. Then he lifts the cup of wine. His eyes seem to look far beyond the room, into eternity. "This cup," he says, "is the new covenant in my blood, which is yet see that this moment is the beginning of their salvation." But one man's heart is already far away. Judas sits quietly, his eyes darting between the others. He feels the coins in his pocket, the price of betrayal. Jesus turns to him, eyes filled not with anger, but with sorrow. "Truly I tell you," he says, "one of you will betray me." A wave of shock runs through the room. The disciples look at each other. "Lord, is it I?" Peter asks. "Surely not me," whispers another. Judas forces a small smile and says, "Rabbi, is it I?" Jesus looks at him gently and replies, "You have said it." Judas lowers his gaze. The candlelight trembles across his face. Inside, guilt and greed fight for control. He slips quietly from the table into the shadows of the night. Jesus looks back at the remaining 11. Is coming for them too. He says, "Little children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, but where I am going, you cannot come now." Peter, bold and eager, says, "Lord, why can't I follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus looks at him with love. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. The room grows heavy again. Jesus stands and takes a towel. Without a word, he kneels before them and begins to wash their feet, dusty, tired feet that have followed him for 3 years. The disciples stare in disbelief. Their teacher, their master, on his knees before them. Peter protests, "Lord, you will never wash my feet." Jesus says softly, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." Peter breaks, his voice trembling. "Then not just my feet, wash my hands and my head too." Jesus smiles faintly. "You are clean." When he finishes, he looks at them all. "Do you understand what I have done? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right. But if I, your Lord, have washed your feet, you must also wash one another's feet. I have given you an example." He sits back down, looks at each and the night air is cool. Jesus walks a little ahead of them. His steps are slow. He stops and turns to them. "Pray," he says, "that you will not fall into temptation." Then he goes a short distance away, falls to his knees, and begins to pray. His heart is breaking. "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." His voice shakes. Sweat drips from his face like drops of blood. The weight of the world presses upon him. He returns to find his disciples asleep. "Could you not watch with me for 1 hour?" He asks softly. "Watch and pray." He goes again, and again he prays. Each time he returns, they are asleep. He looks at them, not with anger, but compassion. Then, in the distance, comes the sound of footsteps and torches flickering through the trees. Judas leads a crowd of soldiers and officials. He walks straight to Jesus and greets him with a kiss. "Rabbi," he says. Jesus looks into his eyes. Judas, would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss? The soldiers step forward. Peter draws his sword in anger and strikes one of them, cutting off his ear. Jesus immediately reaches out and heals the man. Put your sword away, he says to Peter. Shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me? The disciples are terrified. The soldiers move in and seize Jesus. He doesn't resist. The Lamb of God stands silent, surrendering to the plan written before time began. His friends scatter into the night. Only Peter follows at a distance, his heart pounding. They take Jesus to the high priest's house. He is questioned, mocked, and struck. Outside, near the fire, Peter waits. A servant girl looks at him. You were with him, she says. Peter shakes his head. I don't know him. Another person says the same, and again Peter denies it. A third time, someone insists, surely you were with him. Peter swears, I do not know the man. And just then, the rooster crows. Peter's heart breaks. He remembers Jesus' words and runs out weeping. Inside, Jesus stands bound, calm and silent. They accuse him of blasphemy. They blindfold him, spit on him, and strike his face. Yet he doesn't fight back. Every insult, every blow, he bears in love. The night that began with bread and wine now ends in chains and betrayal. The same hands that broke the bread in blessing are now bound in ropes. The same voice that offered forgiveness is now silent before his accusers. As the first light of morning touches Jerusalem, the prophecy is fulfilled. What began in the upper room as a supper of love has